Coming up on 21st Century. In today's fast-paced modern world, the idea of turning off the power, even for a moment, may seem a welcome relief for some. We travel to Togo in West Africa, where living without electricity is a harsh reality for more than 80% of its population. But now an innovative new program is bringing hope to millions. Here's our story. It's late afternoon in the Togolese village of Mongo Tidike in West Africa. People are returning home. And children are finishing up their games. Soon, the sun will set and darkness will take over. At 7 p.m., it's already hard to see. There's no electricity here. A painful reality for 37-year-old Azimeri Azigi.
We should not be left in the dark. I am angry and frustrated.
But there's a very different feeling less than 2 kilometers away in the village of Batume. People are celebrating. It's the first anniversary of the arrival of electricity here. Batume is one of the first rural communities in all of West Africa to become electrified in an innovative regional program designed to bring power to millions of people.
Just as life is a right, electricity is part and parcel of life, a right that no one should be denied. How can people be denied such a right in the 21st century?
Nene Apalo IV is the district's traditional chief. He believes everyone here should have access to electricity, not just the village of Batume.
There are many villages here. Unfortunately, they have yet to benefit from it.
Around the world, according to United Nations estimates, some 1.6 billion people have no electricity. Many are the rural poor in Africa. In Togo alone, more than 80% of the population is without power, including Azimeri's village, where no power means no industry, no health center, and fewer educational opportunities. Farming is the only source of income.
If we have electricity, I can sell fish and make ice cream. It will give me some extra income and peace of mind.
Something Azimeri needs. She and her 10 children and 6 grandchildren eat only once a day. Cooking with firewood can take up to several hours. And without refrigeration, their food spoils in soaring temperatures that can rise above 40 degrees Celsius. And at night, danger lurks in the darkness here. Bonfires and kerosene lamps, the only sources of light, emit particles, gases, and burning embers.
One night, one of my children fell asleep under an oil lamp. The book caught fire and almost burnt him.
The road, without street lights, is also full of unseen hazards.
Many bad things can happen in the dark. We can be bitten by snakes. Some women deliver their babies on the roads on their way to the health center. Sometimes the newborns can be bitten by swarms of fire ants.
These stories are common across Togo, a country with very few of its own energy resources. It imports more than 3/4 of its electric power, mostly from neighboring Ghana. But even Ghana's electricity supply is limited. Ghana's main dam, Okosombo, is now more than 40 years old and not able to keep pace with growing energy demand. Old and inadequate power infrastructure is a widespread problem across all of West Africa. And so, in 2000, the Economic Community of West African States created a consortium of electricity companies from Togo, Ghana, and 13 other countries to tackle the region's alarming electricity shortage. The West African Power Pool, or WAP as they're known, developed a bold plan to restore and expand power plants and grids. The first step, create an elaborate transmission network to distribute energy across the region. A total of 16,000 high-tension power lines. More than 1/3 have been completed. Another step, construct new power plants over the next decade, mostly hydroelectric, others using solar and wind energy. Backed by the World Bank and others, these projects cost some $24 billion. But the challenge remained exactly how to meet the immediate needs of so many people here currently living without electricity. The answer? WAP initiated a project called Cross-Border Rural Electrification, which encourages countries to use their existing power lines to feed electricity directly into the communities and houses of those in neighboring countries. Batume, located just across the border from Ghana, was one of the first villages in Togo to benefit from this cross-border plan when, in 2009, the Ghana Electric Company, funded by the European Union, began to erect power lines that extended the grid from their country into Batume. William Hutton Mensah is acting managing director of Ghana Electric Company.
It's cheaper for us to extend to those communities from our end. We feel it is also our obligation to help them.
Beatrice Agogali teaches at Batume's village school.
Electricity had changed a lot of things in this village. Before, around 3 p.m., our classroom was dark. The kids could not see what we wrote on the blackboard. After we got electricity, everything was clear. When we turn the lights on, they can see.
And the electricity is also helping to save lives here by keeping vaccines and other medications fresh, says the village's Dr. Costi.
We have a fridge in which we keep the vaccine. Now, when women give birth here, we can give the vaccine right after birth.
The arrival of electricity has also brought a spark to the once sleepy village. A spark igniting a flurry of small business. Villagers can now work late into the night, earning extra income. Electricity, even a small amount of it, is providing the opportunity for the rural poor here to break out of poverty. The plan now is for Batume to be a new power hub for extending electricity to the surrounding villages. But with limited funding, not everyone can benefit, says Cisse Mustafa, project coordinator for WAP.
Sometimes it's very painful if you send the power to one village and find out that the village next door, which is just about some few meters away, cannot be supplied because there are no resources. But we hope that with time we will get the money and the support to extend electricity to as many people in the rural areas as possible.
But for Azzy Mary and those in her village where power lines pass just overhead, their hope for electricity continues to remain tantalizingly close, but just out of reach.
We are the same people. Why is it that Batumi enjoys the promise of electricity that has been denied us? We have been left in the middle and abandoned in the dark.